players already qualified for Super Regionals, but their fight in Group B still has more to play. They have one more match now. They're going to be facing Allegiance, but this is do or die for Allegiance. They basically need to sweep Eager and sweep Luminosity unless they want to rely on Noble taking some games later in the day.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, ALG honestly have to turn up big here, because even if they were to get 2-0 by Eager, the uncomfortable position that it would leave them in relying on Noble and, you know, LG to just not be able to secure the set against them, which is a really difficult situation for ALG to be placed into. So honestly, they're just looking for the sweep.
It's going to be hard, but if you want to play with the pros, you can. It's not www.com, it is faceit.com. I'm going to get it right this time. You can sign up, test your skills, win prizes, gems, and skins as you accumulate points throughout it. It's faceit.com, not www.com. I messed up yesterday. It's okay, we're good now. Still, let's talk about this game matchup here. Aror going up against Incon. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Drelo?
Well, they both play very, very similar. They're both incredibly aggressive, and the only difference is the god pulls. Auror's going to look for the yearling supports, the Sobek supports, the very aggressive, very high octane supports. Where Incon's going to look for the Guans, the Athenas. They're more like, you know, like with Guan at least, the more slower mid game passive supports.
And you can see on screen here, these are two players that have been competing against each other for quite some time. These are not LAN wins, though. These are actually online. This LAN was actually the first time Aror and Incon had ever faced off. Aror getting the edge of him in the online stages, and it seems to be translating as well into these plays.
Yeah, I mean, Incon's somebody who's been around the scene for a really long time, and like Drelo was saying, they do have pretty similar playstyles in that they both like the aggression for the most part, but I think Incon does tend to lean more towards the utility-based setup than Aror does, because Aror actually likes being that second jungler, whilst Incon's focus seems to be primarily placed into ensuring that MLC Stealth is getting an ideal mid lane situation.
Well, you can see there on your screen, he's been around for a while. Season 2 Spring Finals took the victory. Smite Masters Sao Paulo, when he went down to Brazil, they were able to win that. And then last Fall Split coming out on top in the online stages. But LAN and the big stage have always eluded Incon. He's here trying to make it to Worlds.
Incon is insane. Like, just through watching scrims and stuff, I've literally seen him out-hog so many people.
Yeah, much better.
And just outplay so many people. In team fights and everything, he really is the shot caller.
Incon's like the big teddy bear, because he's like, I don't know, he keeps everybody's heads in it, he keeps everybody happy. But at the same time, he's very, like, when it's crunch time, it's crunch time.
Big man Riley, okay, he looks scary in real life, you know, like he'll beat you up if you look at him the wrong way, but he's actually probably one of the nicest. He's a teddy bear. He's a super nice guy, super friendly, and a good guy to be around.
Yeah, Incon was really nice to me. When I was trying out the whole time, he was like, if I died, he's just like, you know, okay, well, we see what we did wrong. Let's get better at it, and you know, we can work at it.
Incon. I'm the backstabber for Incon. Previous team we were on, we were top. He got kicked off the team. It wasn't just my choice. I mean, it was kind of, I joined the team again, we were friends. Nothing really changed, and it was rebuilding our chemistry again, which was right there right away. As a player, as a person, he's one of the best in Smite.
In game, he's a little reckless, I would say, in playing support, maybe. I think Incon, he's playing a lot smarter in the duel lane. I think he recognizes the matchups more where he can press his advantage and the matchups where he needs to take it back a little bit.
Incon's the man, and that's for you, baby.
Incon flex, boys. A really dynamic player coming out. I would say old school Incon was honestly a lot about kill stealing. This Incon, I think, playing a lot more for his team.
Right, I completely agree with that. Before on Smite, he was sort of like the, it was the joke around Smite that he was the sort of carry of Smite, where Ally was the support, even though they played Ally was ADC and Incon was support. But nowadays, he's just looking to set up MLC to put him in the best position possible for MLC to succeed.
Well, I think picks and bans are going to be incredibly important for Allegiance. Again, they really need to 2-0 Eager here and 2-0 Luminosity. Their destiny is in their own hands, but it's going to be hard fought. Allegiance not taking Noble's path. They are going to ban away that Raw.
Yeah, they're not going to go. I hope Best really enjoyed playing Raw when he did, because I don't see him getting it for either of these games against ALG. And they're going to go ahead and opt in for that Janus pick as well, which I think is a really smart decision. Comfort pick for MLC, and of course global pressure.
Right, and also the raw rat tasker bans have been very, very standard for this whole tournament. Eager has to ban Terra because they can't let it through, because they can't let the other team first pick it. This has been very, very standard after that first day where we saw them.
Well, the sustain is still reigning true. Terra and Raw banned away, but Eager have the Guan Yu, and they're going to pair that with the Sobek as well. Do you think that is... That's got to go solo, right? That's Divios.
It's definitely a flex pick. I think it's going to go solo, and I'm expecting the Guan to go support.
I would have to agree with Drelo entirely. I'm more than confident that that's going to be Divios on that Sobek, running Wrath, of course, in that solo lane to get the pressure on the buffs that they need.
And Allegiance here in the solo, and they have Cope, boy, who's had, I would say, a pretty decent land. I mean, he only started playing competitive. I don't even think he was even on a challenger team until this fall split, and his rise has been phenomenal.
Right. And in the first day, he had a little like shaky moments with his positioning, but other than that, he's been playing very, very well. And throughout the whole season, he's been certainly a huge surprise for them. Everyone sort of expected him to be the guy that you solo twice per game, like they sort of push over and soloing, but he has held his own and even returned those solo kills.
It's going to be hard fought, though, against Divios here. Allegiance grafting Hunbats and Jing. So we actually, in Group A, we actually saw a ton of Hunbats, especially in day 2 and 3. We saw how useful that kind of massive amount of CC is, but we haven't really seen that too much in these North American groups.
I honestly really like ALG opting to go into the Humbats because I think it gives them the kind of crowd control that they would need to try and deal with the sustaining comp that's going to be coming out of Eager. But at the same time, I still have that general concern for Weekend seeing him on an assassin character like this rather than something a little bit tankier like we're accustomed to seeing him on.
Yeah, we saw him have a lot of success with the Erlang Shen and Athena, at least in the online stages. The Circuit play hadn't really been the same so far.
Right, I'm honestly not too worried about Hunbats in terms of the spectrum of junglers. Tends to lead more towards the support side. And it's certainly good. It's certainly one of those characters that sets up for MLC and does it and sort of plays into what they do best, which is just playing around their mid laner MLC self.
Also, MLC won't have to deal with it. We actually saw that in their loss to Noble. It was actually Mirage jumping on him in the backline. Do you think that actually might have influenced the decision for ALG to bring it out in this game?
I think after that game they realized that, wow, Hunbats is a very strong character. Maybe we should look to pick it up ourselves.
Well, we'll see if it pays off. Bastet picked up again for DJ. Now you got to be concerned about that split push, Taco.
I mean, we saw that Noble didn't really have the mindset and I guess the shot calling that they would really want in order to be able to try and deal with this Bastet. I think ALG, more so as a team, are a little bit better at working together to try and combat this, but it'll definitely still be problematic. But at the same time, they do have that Jing, they do have the Janus, so it could, alleviate some of the map pressure just having those characters being able to rotate as freely as they can.
So I'm just going to go what I just saw on screen. We saw the Freya highlighted. Changes to Cupid, and you just see djpernicus like look to his side like, don't you do it, Zap. It is going to be the Freya locked in. In the ban phase, Allegiance targeting out Zapman actually with the Soul and Rom, and it's Cope targeted out by Eager, banning away his Vamana and Amaterasu.
Right, now what Vamana and Amaterasu does against Sobek, they do a very good job of getting around the map, farming the back carries, farming the elementals. And that way they sort of passively out-farm and outscale Sobek, and banging those away is a very, very strong strategy.
Well, it's going to be the first Khepri we've seen, at least in Group B. A couple games of it in Group A, paired with the Jing 10 Double Guardians.
Double Guardians having a little bit of flashbacks going on right now from that Adonis, but I honestly really like the Double Guardian composition coming out from ALG because Eager actually do. If you look at how Pern has been playing that Bastet, his whole mindset of it, and the Freya as well, is they just want to burst down one person in particular. So primarily probably going to be looking at Venenu on that Jingwei or MLC on that Janus to try and burst him down. So the Khepri should be really helpful in ensuring that they stay alive.
Final pick is Scylla. What are your thoughts on the composition, Strelo?
With Scylla, if Guan is going support in the mid 3-3, they're going to have a rough time engaging fight for Scylla. Easily with Scylla, you want something to make room with like Athena or Sobek, so Scylla can follow up the root, follow up the root combo, and sort of burst down those supports.
Who do you have winning though?
I'm going to go with Eager, even though I think their comp is a bit weird, because we've seen how they've played before. They've been playing very clean. They've been playing their own game. They've looked so strong so far.
Taco?
I'm entirely too indecisive looking at both of these drafts. I got to be honest.
I'm going to be indecisive too. I'm not going to commit to a call, but maybe Tom and Tolly will. They're here to bring you the action right now.
I completely understand where you guys are coming from. Both of these drafts look really good. I think Team Allegiance's draft looks a little bit more just strong standard speaking, but like Drelo said, He's playing his own game. They're playing their own game.
Both of these teams are playing their own game right now. Allegiance, they have the mobility with the Janus. I like it. They have the double guarding between the Xing and the Khepri. Gonna limit the damage coming out of the Freya and the late game. Both of those two gods are designed to limit that damage output. But Eager, they have the sustain with the Guan Yu, and they have the heavy burst between the Freya and the Scylla. The magical damage between these two gods should really favor Eager.
I mean, even with all the noise in the background of all of the other choices, you got to look towards what Eager has been successful with. Bastet, people understand that, yeah, okay, split push strategy might be on the table, but when it comes down to it, Bastet is just a strong old assassin, right? If you're going to give credit to some picks like the Nemesis or some picks like the Circuit, right? An assassin, Bastet can certainly do it. And Scylla, this is a guy that, again, Best has made his name on.
Bastet onto djpernicus. He's very comfortable with it. He's going to be able to really try to chase down the Janus onto the stealth. He's going to be able to try to get that bleed effect. If he's going to go through the portal with very little health, maybe that's the factor to try to lock him down, not get him rolling.
And then again, touching on something Drelo brought from the desk. Guan Yu, Bastet, Scylla, something's dying in that mid lane when it comes down to the 3v3 fight. Not only does it have a great engage with just jumping on in from afar, but also if things go awry, you can fall back and heal up thanks to that Guan Yu. So I like the preparation that Eager has done with a number of things, just bringing things together. And you know what? Like we said, two of our analysts were kind of split down the middle. I'm still kind of shaky. So you know what? Before we go into the game, I want another round. Let's throw it back to the analysts to see how they break this one down again.
So actually, production just yelled at us. They're like, we're too indecisive. We need you to make some final calls here. So let's talk this one through a little bit more. You were mentioning, actually, just as we got off, kind of Allegiance's style in these picks and bans, Drelo. Why don't you just kind of repeat that?
They did a very good job of taking sort of away the centerpieces of Eager's comps. Now, we saw after the Raw and the Terror of the Gun, they sort of fall back to the Janus comp, the third comp, and they did a very good job of taking away that with the Janus first pick. Now, and also, they were very successful in the fact of taking away the Ratatasker because they waited to see if they were going to ban Terror second. They banned Terror second, and they banned away Ratatasker and took away Janus. Very successful sort of first ban, first pick from Allegiance.
Taco, how are you feeling about these drafts? Look, you're having a little bit more time now.
They just couldn't let me get away with trying to be indecisive
They
one
yelled at
time
me too.
in my life. I know, I just don't want to take the entire fault for being so indecisive, but I mean, I just honestly think that the Xing is a really good pickup for Allegiance. Even though we're not accustomed to seeing Copebby on something like this, Guardian related, I really like how well Xing can deal with some of the characters on Eager. For instance, the Guan Yu, the Sobek, and the Freya in particular. I think that Xing is actually pretty useful. Not only can he escape, but he can also peel pretty appropriately for his team, which is going to be crucial in trying to get away from those heavy bursts of Eager.
Drelo, now I have a question. I'm pretty confident in this, but I just want to make sure I say it right. Khepri ult, if Scylla kills someone and he hits the revive, does not reset, correct? Does not go through? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it doesn't because the person
I'm pretty sure,
die.
I was just a little bit unsure myself. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So, I mean, that Khepri going to be coming in pretty critical for the team fights on
it's
ALG.
It's going to be a very interesting interaction to see whether or not that is true.
At the same time, though, I am a little bit concerned. I think the Khepri is probably the most concerning part for me on ALG's draft, just because of the fact that Khepri does tend to get abused a little bit by Sobeks in particular, and we've seen Divios on this Sobek. He absolutely loves plucking and going onto people.
Right, and also this with this 3-3 comp and the 4v4 on either side, their only engage is past level 12 of Blink on Batz ult. So I think they're going to have a pretty rough job of trying to get into fights. In early game, they're going to be sort of standing around counter-engaging and trying to bait Eager into them. I
mean, one of the things, too, is we saw a lot of double Guardians recently, but a lot of times they're paired with some form of sustain, and we're not seeing that on Allegiance's comp. Is this something, do they need to come out firing early, trying to get those, smaller engagements, or do you think they should just kind of hold back and wait till that level 12 Blink on Batz ult?
Honestly, their comp scales very, very well. They can just sit back, chill, just play their own game. And when it comes to mid game, what they need to do is just all in, just go all in, Blink on Batz ult, just
full commit. You can't have a poke war.
You can't let them back off. You can't let Eager disengage, or else they're just going to heal up and they're going to win every engagement.
Let's talk a little bit about Eager's composition now. The Bastet being picked up once again. You mentioned Khepri struggling against Sobek. I mean, it's got to be the same thing for Bastet, right? You can just cats him and kind of just jump on him.
Oh yeah, probably one of the worst parts about being Khepri or any Guardian with like really low mobility is when you get yourself trapped in the centerpiece of those cats from the Bastet ultimate, it's probably the worst feeling in the world because you're just watching yourself die.
Now I got to talk about this because Allegiance needs all 4 games to win, and it's got to be good if you're Allegiance right now, seeing how comfortable Stealth is, leaning back in his chair, doesn't really care too much. I was a little bit worried because talking to Allegiance, you know, they were like, yeah, we're gonna win, but there was definitely some hesitation. They were worried about the matches they had to face today.
I mean, you obviously cannot be like nervous when it comes to these games because like when you have so much pressure on yourself, you have to not only sweep it against Eager, but sweep against LG to basically guarantee yourself to regionals. You're definitely gonna be feeling those nerves.
So as a coach, actually for Denial, I haven't been able to be on the desk with you before.
Right.
Is there stuff you're learning, you know, coming and visiting this land that you're gonna be able to bring back to your team? You think?
I mean, I've learned a lot about like what each team likes, and like I've learned a lot about like sort of like certain strategies and certain things that we can run in scrims and try out and stuff like that. But when it comes to like the art of picks and bans, or so to speak, for lack of a better term, I mean, it's all the same thing to me.
It's all the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you were actually one of the primary reasons Enemy made it so far. I'd say great drafting from last year's Worlds. Again, for those who don't know, Drelo, the coach for Denial, he's been around the scene for quite some time now, doing a good job here. Let's reaffirm these picks and bans. Let's make a decision, you and me, Taco, at the very least.
Oh God, not like this.
A lot of this seems, from what Drelo is saying, is kind of going to come down to a lot of the play style. Do you think Allegiance is going to be able to be the team that sits back and waits for their comp to scale, or do you think Weekend's just going to try and hit the gas?
I mean, Allegiance has shown they don't really like understand their comps very well of how they've been picking Nox throughout the the whole land. Whereas Eager, they've shown that they know how to play their comps to the T. They've shown that with the Terra and the Raw comps that they know how to exactly play their comps correctly. And so that's why I'm sort of leaning towards Eager, because Eager have shown like they've been perfect this land.
Who do you think's comp is better, though?
Who I think's comp is better? Honestly, I like Eager's comp just because it fits their playstyle. The Scylla is a big question mark for me, but at the same time, I haven't really seen Allegiance practice his comp or practice a lot of these gods. It seems like a very, very spontaneous draft to me. And so I'm just gonna have to go with Eager.
Taco? I'm gonna make you make a decision. I'll make one too, but you gotta make the decision first.
Rock, paper, scissors to see who gets which team.
All right,
now.
Bring up the camera, boys. Best of 3 or 1?
This is a best of 2, so we'll go with 3.
We'll go with 3. Okay.
We'll go with 3.
Is it rock, paper, scissors, shoot, or rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Okay.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Okay.
Wait, if I win, which team do I get? Anyways, let's go. We gotta sort this out. We're running. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Again! Easy!
All right, now pick your team.
Okay, you have to make the decision first.
I know,
and then I go.
I was hoping to sneak by that one. I gotta go with Eager. I actually really do like Allegiance's composition. I think Weekend's gonna come out of the door flying, trying to get the ganks off. If they're successful, sure, but we just haven't seen that. I have to go with Eager. Just, they're playing way too well this land.
I'll play devil's advocate then and pull for Allegiance in this one.
Well, they got to get all 4 here. Sorry about the delays. We are working on some issues. We're going to get you into game as soon as possible here. Let's start talking about this group land as a whole and kind of what we've seen come up from it, right? Noble really showing their stuff. Obviously, they're now not going to be able to qualify for super regionals, but is this a team that we're going to have to worry about, or other teams are going to have to worry about in the gauntlet?
I think if anything, I mean, Luminosity is already still worrying about them, considering that they have to secure that closing set against Noble, because if anything were to go wrong or a split were to even occur, and pending on how Allegiance is doing in these games against Eager, I think that could be really, really problematic for the mindsets, especially of those players on Luminosity, because we saw some of the nerves coming out in that day 1 from those, like from when Scary D was
especially
getting his
Scary.
head. Yeah, Scary was definitely feeling it from the first day.
All right, we're not actually casting the game, though. We're going to have the casters bring you it. Tom and Anatoly, just cast the game. It's been a mess.
All right, let's slide on in. Thanks a lot, friends, on the desk. Here we are. And, talking about listening to what they were saying, I like to bring up the point that, again, wow, Drelo, 3 for 3. He said, Allegiance's draft seems almost spontaneous. And, just to bring, the classic F-dot analogy in, you can give anybody a Ferrari, but if you don't really know how to drive it, you're really going to be able to handle those 200-mile-an-hour turns. So, Eager, they've got an Eager-style draft. They know how to play these characters and this composition. Allegiance, I do question it a bit.
It's not just a Ferrari that they're driving. They're driving a McLaren as well. They're driving anything and everything as their composition has just been developing throughout this weekend. I'm really liking the different styles. I don't think that we've seen Allegiance bring out the Xing Chen this whole weekend.
Right.
So this is going to be a different style for Cope. And yet again, because he's against Divios, that's bringing out the Rav style in that Guardian. Now Cope is forced to try to mimic that style. He doesn't want to get out-pressured and lose his own blue buff.
With that in mind, though, Allegiance did bring out some incredibly intelligent responses. Just for clarification, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Khepri ultimate will stop the reset from Scylla. If Scylla hits a target that has the Khepri ultimate, does not count as a kill. Therefore, Scylla's ultimate does not waterfall into the reset, allowing her another shot. It just stops right there. So the Khepri pick, fantastic. How do you feel about the Xing Chen, though?
The Xing Chen is going to be doing a great job trying to shut down the late game damage coming out of Zapman. That's the design between the Xing Chen and the Khepri. Both of them with their damage over time will stop the in-hand damage out of Zap. But I like the style that Igor opened up so far. We saw Aror immediately after the red buff. He went with Best to clear out the left side mid Harpies, and now that's going to allow DJ, now grouping up with the Best, to be able to get those back left. So it should be a quick level 5 for Best.
Even still, Allegiance leading up in gold so far, thanks to their own start. 300 gold so in just raw, just starting off like that. Nice positioning coming out from Incon, not afraid to really stand up in the lane. And then we'll see Stealth going to take some poke out of djpernicus. And if there's one thing, you know, again, talking about Bastet being more skilled than just split push, Incon in some trouble. Likely not going to drop here, though. Bastet is fantastic when it comes to poke, and personally, I love Bastet against Janus. If he goes through a portal, that dot's still ticking.
And that's very important to try to shut down the Janus. You don't want to let him come back into the team fights, but knowing Stealth, he's probably still going to be lingering around, trying to throw out the portals anytime that he can, just to be able to save his teammates. And overall, the draft, there's a lot of counters between these teams. We're talking about the Khepri countering the Scylla ultimate so far, as well as the Freya, even though she's getting countered by the Hug Bug out of the Khepri, but if the pulse is active, it's going to be able to absolutely melt Incon. We saw what Zap was able to do 1v2 against a Fafnir, against Noble, I think it was.
Yep. And I mean, granted, that was with a gigantic lead. Zapman had one of the best games you could hope for with the Freya, getting a double kill very early on. And with this composition, Igor, I don't necessarily think that Igor are going to look to be that aggressive early on. Zapman and TheBest are both obviously late game characters. Divios not really going to do much until level 12 when he gets that secondary relic, likely the teleport, and then he comes over and hangs out. DJ, again, another mid-game character. Expect Igor to pop off a little bit later than normal.
It's going to be difficult for DJ, though, to try to mimic the same split push style that he did in his last set, because coming out of this team composition from Allegiance, they have a lot of damage that you have to respect. So if you go Purification and Teleport trying to find those split pushes, then the damage, the RNG damage coming out of Hunbats from Weekend is going to be able to really lock DJ down.
Well, I'm not taking that off the table. I think, of course, anytime you're going to be playing a character like Bastet, you do have to consider that a part of the arsenal, but I don't think that this Bastet selection was chosen to split push like it was in previous drafts. Again, just coming back to it, Bastet is a fine assassin in her own right. Split push completely ignored, and again, I love it against slippery gods like MLC Stealth Janus, because that dot is still going to tick even when he finds an escape.
The problem from Igor is they have a lot of damage, but their setup is a little bit questionable right now. They have the Guan Yu cavalry charge for the stun. They have Zapman's Wu potentially, and then they have Divios, but he's not going to be in these team fights for quite a long time, so it's going to be very important for Best to maybe even set up himself with the root.
It's really a lot about going to be the Freya banish. We see Zapman be very accurate with that. A lot of times multiple players caught in the banish. That's what Zapman is going to be looking for. That's why he went the Freya instead of the Cupid. I think the Cupid was a legitimate thought process. I don't think it was necessarily a troll, but when it came down to it, look, Auror's not going to bring hard CC outside of an ultimate. And Divios, he's a Sobek, and that's fantastic, but he's not going to be here all the time. Zapman needed to bring a little bit of on-demand CC himself, whereas Cupid, it's delayed. You got to wait for that heart bomb to explode. With the Freya banish, Zapman has that on-demand CC that this composition needs.
And Zapman was doing a good job just freezing the lane. He's trying to get back into it because we saw Venenu. He hit level 6 first. Venenu was the one that also shared the red buff experience, now hitting level 7. Zapman still almost there, and this is what you really need to do in the earlier stages of the game as a Freya. This is at your weakest point, so the fact that there's no pressure from Allegiance should allow Zapman to start looking for some 1v1s later on.
A little bit of action, or at least DJ just teasing it. Jumps forward to weaken, but the call is to back off. Now Zapman is the one that's forced to back off. Venenu, good with the in-hands, not so good with the abilities. The Gust just barely gonna miss.
I like the confidence though from Venenu playing up at the tower line. He knew where every member from Eager was on the right-hand side. We saw the pressure coming out of DJ into the soul lane, so that means now you could be aggressive. This is the great timing because you have the Ninja Tabby, whereas the Fatalis just now finished from Zapman.
And that's not a surprise here. Talking to Zapman, he mentioned 2 hunters. Everybody, we talk about the Zapman aura, right? Where you don't really want to fight him. He's known for this, for being very strong and very aggressive. And Zapman mentioned 2 hunters that were part of the rookie set, or some of the less experienced guys that would bring it. And it's Panda Cat and Venenu. These guys are not afraid. Venenu has never been afraid to take the fight, and so I'm not really surprised to see that aggression, and I think that's a very positive force for Allegiance. You're going to have to fight this Freya.
And more importantly, Venenu playing the Jing way, even if you're losing the fight, you'll be able to get back into the lane very quickly with that passive, no problem. That's what you really need to do as a hunter, playing against such an experienced player in general, trying to find the wins that any way you can, and if you're going to lose it, make it as small of a loss as possible. But now that Zapman has the Fatalis, he's the one that's feeling very confident taking these 1v1 skirmishes.
We've spoken and focused a lot on what Eager has brought to their table with their draft, largely because it's so unique. Eager has played their own game and has been very successful with what they've been able to do. But looking across the way at Allegiance, I really absolutely love Weaken's selection. Eager's been successful because they've played their own game, and it's been very I don't want to say calculate, meticulous, right? It's all about the details. Well, when you drop a Fear No Evil, all the details go to the wind. Everybody's running in a different direction. Allegiance's job here is to disrupt what Eager has planned, and is a perfect choice for the jungler.
I wouldn't be surprised if Allegiance's goal is to try to pick off Aror as quickly as possible off of Weaken's ultimate. That could easily be followed up with Incon's hug after the duration of that expires. So there's a lot of chain CC between Allegiance, especially if Cope starts rotating to the team fight. You have the knockup from Venenu. So Allegiance, they're trying to force the issue already with Weaken.
And here's the first real go. The ultimate out of the monkey. Pretty much nothing for it. Players ran in the opposite direction. Unfortunate totem placement. Zapman taking the fight to Venenu. Going to pop the purification to avoid the gust. And there's the ultimate damage. Trying to bait Venenu into this fight. Knowing that the ultimate is down for the hunter is a problem. But Venenu, turn around, buddy. There's the Scylla. Venenu gets aggressive. Tries to get back to base, and he will successfully do it. Zapman with a successful bait, but not enough damage out of Eager to find the first blood.
A crazy long 1v1 between Venenu and Zapman. Best being able to bail out his hunter. If that crush didn't hit Venenu, I would have expected him to land back down and try to go for the solo kill. That would have really skyrocketed him, because Zapman, he does have the red buff that would have taken that away from him. He would have been able to come back into the lane, even if it was traded 1-for-1. You're shutting down a Freya in this early stages is so important for Allegiance.
Wonderful play. It was fun watching Zapman make the incorrect choice. You don't want to ult there. You want to save that ult, but he makes it. That forces Venenu forward, and that's why we see him get smoked by the best. But again, just more numbers on the side of Venenu, and he's able to escape. Good plays coming out from Allegiance there to keep themselves out of the death column.
The problem between that 1v1 also was the fact that they were on opposite ends of their towers, so they had to find a way to reposition themselves back into the correct tower alignment. So both of them having to trade off ultimates. It's going to definitely favor Venenu, because his ultimate is like good offensively and defensively, but Zapman, his is more prevalent to trying to survive that early game. I'm really surprised though, Allegiance, they haven't really put pressure on this duel lane, but now Weaken is waiting around the corner.
Weaken went for it, but there was a ward that just faded. There's a sentry ward right here, and by the entrance into the left jungle for the mid lane, there was another ward right next to it. Zapman sat on his tower as soon as Weekend walked over that. That was the intent. Weekend wanted to find the gank, but good vision coming out of Eager stopped that in his tracks.
There's going to be a power spike with Weekend finishing off the hi-rez Lament. We see now djpernicus, he just finished off the Jotun's Wrath, and I like the different style of builds because if you can land that crit with Weekend, it's going to proc very well with that hi-rez Lament. Whereas if you're djpernicus, you're looking for the long duration team fight, so the more cooldowns you have, the better it is.
It's actually, you know, and I think there's something else about this, the Jotun's Wrath as well. It still has penetration. Now, it was nerfed. It had 11 penetration a long time ago. Now it only has 10. So maybe I'm being a little bit glib. But at the end of the day, the hi-rez, it's got an awesome passive, but it doesn't bring that pen. And we've seen DJ. We know the build he wants to go. It's going to be pure power and penetration. So despite the fact that hi-rez has been the more celebrated item recently, arguably better, things are rarely better 100% of the time. And in this specific build path, I think that the penetration from Jotuns is certainly going to count.
You definitely need to build a pen if you're trying to destroy these objectives. Whether or not it's Gold Fury, Fire Giant, Towers, or Phoenixes, all of this is going to synergize very well with your in-hands, as well as the kitties that are going to eliminate the backdoor protection. So DJ, he started off the first step for his build. We're probably going to see Brawler's Beatstick, Titan's Bane, and then Crusher eventually from him.
So we did mention earlier on that both of these compositions were an early game. It's no surprise that we don't see any kills on the board even after the Fire Giant has spawned at that 10-minute mark. Where do you expect things to come online? I mentioned level 12 for Divios when he gets his second relic, now that the teleport's online. How long until we see Eager or Allegiance go for the play?
Well, I thought that we would have already seen a play in the duel lane between Venenu and Zapman, but it's going to be more inclined for waiting for the right opportunities once the levels comes online. I expect like once Best hits level 13, maybe that's going to be a power spike that Eager will really try to force, because off of one Brute, maybe off of a pluck from Divios, that's all they really need to find the guaranteed kill, especially if it's going to be onto Incon. If you can catch him with I'm a Monster before the ultimate.
Everybody's looking towards Zapman. 2 ultimates down, and Zapman on the aggression now that Aurora has shown up. The ultimate out of Weekend, not going to be enough. Him and the Hunter brings Zapman down to about half HP, but Aurora brings him right on back up, and it's like nothing ever happened.
The Purification's down, the Freya ultimate's down. This is a good timing for Weekend to still sit in the duel lane, and that's exactly what he's doing. He wants to take advantage of Zapman.
We take a look here, Zapman versus Venenu. We've watched them time and time again try to go right into it, and it wasn't just successful. Here comes Weekend, no ultimate available. So Venenu not going to be able to find it, but the comparison brought to us by Faceit has certainly been the arguable shot of this team fight. Here on the left-hand side, everybody's showing up. Weekend, no ultimate. That'll be a change, and the first blood goes down. djpernicus's support does not help out.
And now Aurora, he's in a little bit of trouble, retreating back with the sustain. Incon gonna get plucked back in. Zapman still doing a lot of damage, but now it's gonna be Cope making the rotation, zoning out really well, avoiding the root, gonna not be able to pluck the best. And now it might be Cope in a little bit of trouble. Divios is gonna try to line up a pluck.
Looking for it, but a nice dash out of Venenu, saves his life. 3 players from Allegiance still here. They're gonna group up and get hit by the crush, or at least one of them will. Not quite having that Sick'em already maxed out.
Weekend's ultimate is available. This is why he's still lingering around the corner. He could potentially look for a kill. It seems that Eager might look for the Gold Fury. The Kitties is not available, but Wrath is onto Divios, so it's very important for Weekend to stick around and stop this important objective.
Yeah, the Fear No Evil is going to come in clutch here. There it goes, but Eager already take the Gold Fury. Weekend now in some trouble, gets rooted out. Khepri over the wall, too late. TheBest gets the smackdown.
It was able to Incon to save his teammate earlier on. That's why he didn't have the ultimate for that time. Cope gets plugged in, and that's going to be a second casualty from Allegiance. Eager picking up the gold and 2 kills.
Double kill for the mid laner on Eager right there, despite all of the best efforts out of Allegiance. It seemed ALG had all the tools necessary. Fear No Evil, Khepri around the corner, just does not prove enough for ALG, and Eager wind up taking the 2 kills and the Gold Fury. Despite the first blood coming out of Allegiance, you can see Eager snatch that lead away, and they start a lead of their own.
They need to really figure out a way to not allow Eager to get these Gold Furies for free. The damage between the Bests, Crush, ultimate, Divios with his ultimate, as well as the Wrath, you cannot give any sort of space control to them around the duel lane. And because Zapman's now level 14, he has 2 items complete, almost with his 3rd, having the red buff. This is what Eager really rely on, this mid-game, getting these objectives, and especially with DJ, yet again, going for the split push style, picking up the teleport as a second relic.
Like I said, the mid-game is where, honestly, both teams are really going to look to hit their stride. Zapman needs to finish this third item, and once he does, I expect Eager to absolutely play off of that power spike. Freya becomes a different character once she has Boots, Fatalis, and the ring of her choice. And with that in mind, Eager's certainly going to make the push. The Gold Fury's down, but there are towers and there are other objectives that they can keep their mind to.
It's very important for Allegiance to stick together. We saw that it was actually Allegiance that was able to get the first blood because Incon prevented the death with his own ultimate, doing a great job. But because he used his ultimate to prevent the first blood, it was weakened, sacrificing his own life, trying to stop the Gold Fury attempt from Eager. So they have to pick their positions a little bit better. And I think the goal for them, like we mentioned at the start of the game, is to utilize the support solo lane style just to diminish the in-hand damage from Zapman.
I mean, he's going to be the major part of the chip down damage, the beginning of the fight damage. The best is going to throw out a crush and try to set things up with a root, but it's Zapman's job to really carry these team fights. And then at the end, the best is going to pop bottles and just make everybody die. That's really the goal here for Eager. Zapman sets up, and the best just kicks them all out of the room.
Well, besides popping bottles, it's DJ that's going to pop kitties on these towers if Allegiance doesn't ward defensively. Once this penetration build completes, already finishing off his second one, it's going to be the Brawler's B-Stick, which is pretty good also, trying to limit some of the self-sustain coming out of Allegiance. You have the HP 5 from Cope. You also have a decent amount of regen coming out of the Khepri.
Again, that's all just sort of a side effect or a side bonus. DJ's really looking for the 40-20. The 40 power and the 20 penetration that comes on this item. That's the goal here. We've seen it a number of times, even built on Thor a couple of metas ago, just because of those numbers. Certainly the goal here. A little bit of a reset in the game, and I want to use this time to really zoom out a little bit, Toli. Eager, they've already qualified. We know they're going to Super Regionals. Allegiance, however, they've got a big day. They have to 2-0 this set. They have to follow that up with another 2-0 against LG. Does that change? Does Eager... How does that affect at least Allegiance's mindset versus Eager here in this matchup?
Everything is on the line for Allegiance. They're at 5 points. If they manage to find all 6 points for today, they'll be at 11 and guarantee themselves over Luminosity. And it's very important for them to group up and make the plays against Eager, who are feeling very confident. Divios caught in a 1v4 situation. A lot of ultimates being used, but they're still not able to pick him off.
Divios gets surrounded. That's an ultimate out of the Monkey, an ultimate out of the mid lane, no ultimate out of Khepri, but like you said, a lot burned just to take out Divios. And by the way, everybody gets distracted. djpernicus gets half the life of the tower. Zapman's going to get pulled just a little bit. Big play. He's in a lot of trouble even when he lands. Aurora's to show up. The damage out of the Hunter going to be immune and healed right back up.
Aurora popping the meditate, popping the conviction, unstable vortex, but the stun coming out of Aurora. Cope going to respond with an ultimate of his own, but because of the long wind-up, Best easily gets away.
And there's the chase. Beautiful lift coming out of Zapman's setup, but caught by Incon. Well done. DJ wants to provide some more damage, and guess who's back? It's Venenu.
That's his jump. DJ's jump is down, but the rest of Allegiance, they're not healthy enough to really commit to the dive. The ultimates are down from Weekend and MLC Stealth because of it just trying to crush out Divios.
You know, there were some questions about this draft from Allegiance. How prepared were they to play these picks? On paper, these picks are fantastic against what Eager has drafted. Cope on the Xing to really diminish what Zapman can do with the in-hands. A little bit of a rotation here. Is Venenu as scared as he should be? I don't think so. 4 players in Eager jerseys dashing forward. Finds the root right after the agility. Venenu's going to find safety under the tower, but you got to give it up for the best. Predicting where the Hunter was going to land. I love that play.
That was so crucial. I'm surprised Eager actually didn't commit to that dive because they knew his Venenu's ultimate was down from the earlier engage. He tried to kill Zapman with it, and off of that, they forced the Sanctuary, which is still really good. It's going to be Eager now forcing the issue on this Gold Fury. They have the kitties, they have the Wrath on Divios.
Not going to find the fight just yet. Eager still waiting it out. I'll head back to mid lane and group up as 4. The 5th player going to come out of the base. Looks like Zapman headed right back to his lane. Nothing too extravagant there. Well, my point bringing up about Allegiance's draft, hold that. They're going to start the Gold Fury. Let's ride along with ALG thanks to Seal Series as they look for the objective.
This is all. That's Guan, you want? Reset. Yep.
Right now, it's
Go, Guan, he's by himself. I can go for an ult here. Right here. Can we get over to you? You're too far away. I'm Janus. I'm blue. Sobek. Oh, I can get Batz dead. Sobek. That's B. B's on Scylla. I'm out. Fuck Divvy. Talk. Sobek. He's all down.
Freya's full HP.
Okay, well, they're gonna get it.
Yeah, they're gonna get it. Sobek's full HP. Or Freya's.
They have no Sobek ult. They have no.
Where did Freya not? Was she even there?
I'll just back up. All three of them just ran away while you guys chased whoever and died. I had 3 people.
Right there, I think if you want to identify where things went awry for Allegiance, I think it was the call. I think it was Cope. I don't want to commit to that. But somebody said, I've got Guan by himself when he absolutely was surrounded by teammates. One small call like that, delivering bad information to your teammates, can make the whole thing go belly up.
It was Incon that managed to find the pull onto Aror after the cavalry charge was on cooldown. The whole idea behind Allegiance's comp is to try to pick him off. They have the Khepri hug. They have Weaken's ultimate. They should be able to really lock him down, but it was Weaken that had to really dive the backline really deep with his own blink. We also heard, I think it was Venenu that said, I'm not in range of the ultimate. They went a little bit to him. They found a kill eventually, I think, onto DJ, but the ultimate from Incon saving Weaken's life, despite Stealth's portals being there, was kind of a waste, I would say, because we saw the reset from the Scylla ultimate, and then everybody from Allegiance had to run away.
And my question here is, Allegiance just gave up the gold for you. They acknowledge, hey, they're going to get it. Why is that the case? They only had 1 death.
It was interesting because Cope had about half health at the end of the team fight. He still had his wrath, and I don't think anyone from Allegiance noticed the fact that Divios used his wrath in the team fight. This is something that he's been doing a lot. He's trying to find more chain CCs, trying to lock down targets, and I think if Allegiance recognized that it was Cope with the wrath, maybe they would have actually contested this Gold Fury.
Just a communication breakdown, I would say. So things don't work out for Allegiance right there. 21 on the clock. Kills even. It's a low, not a low action game. It's a high octane game, but a low kill count. Only 6 across the board. And Eager start off with a very small lead of 1,600. But Venenu gets his ultimate chased out as Zapman brings the offensive.
This is the problem facing a Freya at this stage of the game. Also going for the Witchblade after the demonic grip. There's just not that much damage that Venenu can do in a 1v1 scenario, especially with Zapman on the red buff. Just now hitting level 18 Eager, they should be able to start grouping up and really trying to go for quick picks.
You know, we've seen Zapman play Freya time and time again. This is one of the first times that we're seeing the Witchblade come out, and I think that's due to the length of the laning phase. Ooh, nice jump at a DJ. No ultimate for Weaken. Backside, Aror and Divios are here as well. 4 players on Allegiance, and Auror's looking for the horse stop. Gets it onto Cope mid-jump, but he's underneath the tower, and that should deter Eager from going too hard. Zapman pushes up mid. You got Venenu pushing up left side. Right side, still the location of the team fight. Tier 1 tower likely to go down here as Venenu still pushing, looking for a Tier 2.
It's going to be a 5-on-4 for Eager on the right, but look at this. Divios is teleporting on the left, making sure that there is no shenanigans, split push style coming out of this Xing way, and that's going to be a little bit of a win for Eager as they take out 2 Tier 1 towers, only losing 1 of their own. Now, I'm really surprised that they weren't able to defend the Tier 1 tower on the right, because it seems every time Cope goes in with his ultimate, he doesn't really find anyone. But maybe if he just waits for the cavalry charge from Aror, that could be the initiation that Allegiance needs to find the clean pick against this Guan Yu.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because I tried to bring it up a little bit earlier, and we got into one of our few team fights that we've had so far. This team, like Drelo said on the desk, the picks and bans seem a little bit sort of out of nowhere, and we've seen players pick the Xing Chen and be successful, most notably in Europe with Xayah and Dimmy. These guys have been playing Xing Chen since he came out. Cope, obviously a little bit newer and maybe a little bit more wet behind the ears with respect to Xing Chen. That ultimate has a huge windup, but you you can still catch people in it. Cope has had trouble with it, and I got to start thinking that maybe he doesn't have the hours under this character that's necessary.
Well, the fact that he picked it now, day 3, the first game of the day for Allegiance, means that he has been playing behind the scenes.
For
Otherwise, you wouldn't really want to put yourself in that awkward position with everything is on the line. Allegiance with 5 points. They really need to be able to find at least 1 win against Eager and then 2 against Luminosity.
You know, exactly, and it's just he can play the Xing Chen. We've seen him do pretty well despite losing the tower here on the right side, but it's about that finesse, right? What is it, 10,000 hours to perfection? I don't think he's anywhere near, I don't think any of our players are near 10,000 hours on Xing Chen, to be honest with you. But just the idea. I mean, I haven't seen that ultimate hit much of anybody, and we've seen some of the more experienced players make that happen. So maybe Cope just missing a couple here in the early game, and we'll see it happen and translate it into positivity late game. But for now, certainly not as effective as he could have been.
Heading into the 25-minute mark, Golfier just now respawning. Eager, despite it being 3-3 on the score chart, they have a little bit of a lead, about 2,500 gold at this point. Nothing really to write home about, but this is something that they've been able to really sort of extend upon. They've always been able to take that slight lead, whether it's a power spike of a tier 1 item or not, and then just start grouping up. But look at this, it's going to be Allegiance taking advantage. They recognize that Zapman back.
And you got Divios there on the right-hand side. Allegiance still unwilling to go ahead and full commit. Divios' teleport is still on cooldown, but it's still all just the bait. Venenu tossing out the basics and not willing to commit. I think that was a window that Allegiance could have, but just like last time when they didn't realize the Wrath of the Gods was down, I think they just don't have the information that would allow them to hard commit.
They had a 5-on-4, but they didn't take advantage of it. Finding the route onto DJ, the jump is down. Nice little move onto Incon.
And Eager's gonna go for the fight. Let's listen to them as they take on Allegiance.
I'm Janus. I got a route 2.
We're not with you, not with you. Freya,
Look
Freya,
at
look at Freya, look at Freya, Freya, way in the back.
Damage reduction on
Nice,
that.
I'm fine.
Freya's just diving in the back. Yeah, I'm just trying to help. Block him, go!
I don't have attack speed.
That's okay. They're gonna go to gold. 100% go to gold. We need to be ready, like, the second they look to engage.
Remember, you're blink initiating, like, way too
No, I know, but they were on Incon, like,
yeah,
before I
yeah.
I didn't start the fight, like. Because they whipped me and then I immediately... It's a half. They're gonna... Nice.
Do you have hog?
Should I even go for it? Probably not.
I'm here.
Because I'm gonna die if I do go for it. See, doesn't have leave. You're not gonna get it. Let's go. They already got it. Not a big deal. Just don't die. Do not die. They're backing you. They might look for something. Yep. Down 5k. Not a big deal. But we need to be engaging, like, off of that shit.
Yeah, we need...
Well, we actually got to listen to Allegiance, not Eager that time around, but even still, I think if we heard Eager, I think we just would have heard, hooray, we did it. We get to listen to Allegiance, and honestly, when things aren't going right, that's almost more entertaining for me, at least on the analyst side. I like to hear people go and hollering and start screaming, but Allegiance really kind of just got broken down. Totally. Why don't you break down the breakdown?
It was basically the initiation from Zapman. He whooped out Incon, and then if that force weakens hand, he had to blink ultimate just to be able to save Incon's life. And as a result of that, at the tail end of that, it seemed like Allegiance was going to be able to maybe get a trade kill onto Zapman with a nice pull from Incon, but the Purification Sanctuary kept him alive. And then overall, because of the fact that Zapman did live, it was a 5-on-4. Eager just secures the goal here for free. And then we also listened to, I think it was Incon that said, I have the damage reduction onto Freya. So this definitely is a great strategy from Allegiance, trying to focus Zap.
And you know, they tried, and that was the issue for them, was they threw a lot of stuff at Zapman, but at the end of the day, just able to hit that Aegis, and that allowed him to really find the sanctuary in the team fight. And one of the other things that we heard is that Allegiance, Weekend is going a little bit too far. When he finds those blink initiates, they're at the right time. They're not at the right place. The rest of the team is too far to follow up, and Weekend's finding these sort of team fights by himself. He blinks, he drops the ultimate, and nobody's there.
The fact that Allegiance didn't force the Gold Fury a 5-on-4 allowed Zapman to make the rotation back into the team fight, and then that forced Allegiance's hand in a position they didn't really want.
djpernicus and Aror a little bit too far, and Weekend takes him to the cleaners here. A lot of ultimates expended. Not sure if MLC needed to drop that one.
Not at all, but Allegiance, they pop the spread. They want to keep going, but a nice root. Venenu is going to go into the sky, going to go back down with his team. Still taking a lot of poke was Allegiance off of the nice root crush from Best.
With MLC Stealth's ultimate down, I think Allegiance has, I think Eager has a little bit more leeway here in this team fight. Nice Khepri ball going to be thrown out. Only hitting Divios, however, not finding the priority target of Zapman. Zapman takes to the sky after being rooted down a little bit. MLC Stealth in trouble, but he can walk through the wall. Cope does not have the same luxury. Eager's collapsing on top. There's the ultimate out of Best. He's in trouble himself, but Weaken's going to detention. Divios puts him down. Venenu now in some trouble as well. Surrounded, looking for the Best, but he's going to get body blocked. He's going to get crushed. Incon helps to get Zapman on the backside, and a good flip out of Divios will prevent Venenu from finding the Best.
2 for 2 as DJ's about to respawn. His teleport is available, so Eager, they could continue pressuring the right-hand side with the teleport, dropping the kitties, but teleporting into the mid lane, having a wave, he should be able to grab this one for free.
I like that even better. Right side Eager have the 2 players and they're able to get it. DJ, he's creating the pressure. Whether he gets the tower or not is almost irrelevant. He's going to, either what happens is Eager gets 2 towers or they get guaranteed on the right side.
There hasn't been many Bastet players in all of SPL to be able to be this effective. The last one that I remember that's been this efficient was Just when he used to play for enemy.
Right, I mean, this character is very slippery, and he can create pressure and quickly run away. Ultimate out of Cope, well, he's gonna grab some minions, take him to town, down goes the wave.
Divios being able to negate the ultimate from Cope yet again. I don't think I've seen Cope be able to pull anybody this game quite yet. I think he really needs to wait for Aror's ultimate and try to lock down, because without the sustain coming out of Eager, that's going to be the Achilles heel, because they've always been relying, I feel like, on a sustained pick god this whole weekend, whether it was the Guan Yu, the Ra, or even the Sylvanas.
Taking a moment to focus on the builds here. I really want to give it up for Divios here specifically. I'm loving what's coming out of Divios. And, you know, Venenu has been very, very creative in his builds. And here we see him mixing the chins and the crit. I don't mind the chins here. Usually, I feel like it's chins or crit. You got to pick one, attack speed or crit. But here, because of the built-in critical strike for Venenu, I actually like it. Weaken obliterates the Best.
Best didn't have any relics, and now DJ solo as well. Venenu
Nice
finding
shot.
the second kill. Weaken gonna be saved by Incon. Divios inside his ultimate. Incon waiting for another pull.
Right there, Cope. I thought he was going to go for it just as the ultimate up. Thought he finally figured it out. A triple whoop coming out of Zapman, and Venenu's in some trouble. But Cope blocked the shot. Can't block that one. Zapman gets the kill with the ult.
But now Cope finally finding
Beautiful.
2 members, and that's what Allegiance need. They're going to be able to dive that tier 2 tower. The teleport from Weaken, though, he has to jump away. The pulse he radiated from Zap is going to melt Stealth.
Zapman winds up with the kills. Cope finds a beautiful ultimate, but the team just can't convert off of it. Cope's still trying to make it happen, but he's getting flipped up. Zapman in a little bit of trouble, but the tower's gonna help out. Zap finds another kill. 3-1-4 for the Freya Hunter.
The sustain from Aror keeping Zapman alive, and the Rod of Asclepius just amplifying the sustain from Aror is just so important for Eager. The way they've been playing with their drafts, the way they've been itemizing the utility Freya with Spear of the Magus, helping out the Best. The Rod of Asclepius on Divios, helping out Aror. It's just so much cohesion from Eager.
That's really what it was. I tried to touch on it before that team fight. I'm loving how everything is just sort of working together. Even the Witchblade coming out of Zapman contributing to the team. Something very interesting as well is Eager's doing this without a coach. Balistner helped them out a little bit earlier in the season. They've since separated themselves from that individual, and it's just these 5 guys. They've taken their gameplay and they've coupled it with their own intelligence and in-game leadership. That's why they're one of the first North American teams to qualify for Super Regionals.
I think Eager is one of those teams that honestly, they don't even need a coach at this point in time. They're all individually so talented, as well as having the right mindset to play at a very high competitive level. They have their own mind games, they have their own strategies, and they've been executing it well this whole weekend. Now, so far in the lead, about 7,000.
Eager plotting an ambush. Let's listen to them as they look for the fight instead of the fire giant.
A little bit. Careful.
You're going on over hard.
I'm good. Right, back up. Back and heal. Back up and heal.
Janus ult.
We're going to DJ.
Are you okay, DJ?
I don't have ult. No, I don't need.
Help him out.
Jing. She's low. Jing's low. I got her. I'm Batz ult. She might be dead. Good up. Nice!
So
You
heal
have
up,
fire
heal
now?
up. Yeah, we
Keep
can.
on healing up. Just keep moving up and heal. We can go to gold. Go fire again. Do we have a sentry for up top? We don't.
I'm gonna look for a whoop.
Just look for a whoop, yeah. It's
Here. He's whooped, he's whooped.
I'm gonna defend against split push. Khepri ult. I got him. My Batz is doing it red, by the way. It's fine.
Yeah, and their speed.
Good job.
Now we can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
Free fire, free fire. Yeah.
Dibs on the speed.
Nice job.
Nice job. That's fire. It's free fire. Pern, you can split. You can split.
Yeah. Jing's dead for 30. It's Janus and Khepri. Watch out, we're gonna Janus plugged. Khepri plugged.
Do you have hog up? There we go. Let's go mid. No point in going left.
Two here. We should just take it. We don't have any tower damage.
We don't have tower damage. Yeah, we can't back.
So obviously we're going to focus on DJ talking smack. Love to see that. But here's two things that I really enjoyed. Was one, I really enjoyed the fact that there is obviously a shot caller. You're hearing that out of both djpernicus and Zapman, but they're sharing it with the team. Everybody's got a chance to sort of pitch in, and I want to talk about how they combat the split push. Everybody wants to complain about the cheese of the split push. Well, Eager just showed that they could take care of it. DJ mentioned it, he's aware of it, and then he goes and peels off and tries to stop it.
It was so important for Eager. The way they've been playing these team fights shows how experienced they are. They did not panic when DJ was caught out of position at all. He recognized that he might be dead here, but he didn't put it over the top as a high priority call. He was still in the safety net of his own teammates, and we saw Weekend just trying to find the kill. It was also a great sanctuary from DJ, keeping him alive. They saw the fact that Venenu overextended as well. They baited Allegiance into Eager's part of the jungle side, even applying the bleeding tick, finding the first kill.
It's something that every single time that we've listened to Eager, props to Steel Series, we have heard straight composure. I've never once heard them super panic. I've heard Divios get a little bit excited, right? And obviously DJ ready to scream at somebody's face. But very rarely, if ever, have we heard Eager sound like they were nervous. djpernicus has no beads, no ultimate, no jump, being chased by 3 players. And the question is, hey, I don't have anything. I think I'm in trouble. Zapman goes, hey, can you get out of there? DJ says, no, I cannot. Okay, let's assist DJ. All very clean and calm. And that's a really big key to allowing Eager to find these victories.
And despite being 5-on-4, they still managed to keep setting up the traps that they really want to do. We see a 4-man push on the left. DJ still lingering around middle, which is going to force out Cope to try to defend it. A nice little route onto Incon, but Weekend's going to dive the back.
Left side Phoenix already down. Mid side Phoenix goes down thanks to the kitty cat. And here comes the fight on the left-hand side. DJ dealing with the player in the mid lane. It's going to be Cope, but Aror looking for the stun. Finds it. Khepri's got to ult himself. That's got to feel good.
It's going to feel very good for TheBest, who still has his own ultimate. Now he doesn't have to worry about the Khepri revive, so he could potentially find the kill of I'm a Monster and then finding the reset.
Even going to assist himself with the Polynomicon. Ton of damage going to come out of that mid lane. Beautiful setup coming out of Allegiance. Cope hits the ultimate right into the Khepri hug, and down goes the Hunter. Double kill for Venenu. Beautiful application of abilities coming out from Allegiance. Likely to find another kill onto Aror here. Can the Hunter do it? Can't find the shots. Finally does. Unofficial. But that's 3 in a row, folks. Trip skis.
And now Allegiance, they should be able to continue the pressure down the mid lane, but they have to worry about any sort of fire minutes trickling down the left-hand side. So it's going to be Cope now defending it. He has the teleport available. Best is going to be able to use that Sentinel wave. Weekend, he's smelling blood. He wants to find one more pick potentially before going for the Phoenix.
Right there, Eager. Kind of just collapsed. Spread out a little bit too much, I think.
Absolutely, they just managed to do that. But now look at this, DJ, he rotates over trying to find the split push, but Cope recognizes it, stays back and defends. Allegiance, are they going for the win?
They're just gonna push for it. Best is able to pick up one, and that's enough to deter Allegiance from going all in. If Best doesn't find that kill, look at Aurora enjoying it. If Best doesn't find that, Toli, that's game.
Absolutely perfect root crush combo. Best keeping Eager alive in this first game. Just still crushing the hopes and dreams of Allegiance. They're down 10,000 gold. Now they did manage to get the mid Phoenix, which is so important, but now Incon in a lot of trouble. He has nowhere to go off of this one.
I mean, he's surrounded by animals of all shapes and sizes. Big cat, little cat, even a crocodile. Make that a shark. It's just too much for him to handle by himself. Eager, it's 14-10, and we've almost got 40 minutes minutes on the clock. One of the longer games we've seen this weekend. And Team Allegiance, well, they're on the back foot one more time.
5-on-3, Eager pushing down the right side. Phoenix, they got the left and mid earlier on. They need to find a way to defend this if they want to be able to get into contention for the top 2 spot.
Here comes the fight on the right-hand side of the map. Eager, waiting for the opportunity. Last time around, they were a little bit too aggressive, so they found themselves in a bad spot for a moment. Eager's going to take the right side Phoenix and they'll retreat just a little bit. What are they waiting for, Toli?
Fire Giant respawning in 3 seconds, and that's exactly what they're waiting for. Stripping away the speed buff is going to be very important in the late game. The more targets that you can have with your own speed buff. We see DJ having his own. Their own speed buff will spawn about a minute or 2, but it doesn't seem that Eager really care about waiting for that one. They want to get this end game objective. They have all 3 Phoenixes stripped. They have the late game damage between Best and Zapman.
And this has been everything that Eager set up and drew on the board. And it's all just come to fruition here. Allegiance again playing defense. Gold, a little bit irrelevant, I think, at this point. Everybody largely in their own spot, but it does help illustrate the type of game that Eager has had. 12,500 in the lead. Again, it's not going to affect the game, but it does show you they've been pretty dominant this entire time.
Just so well coordinated and executed is Eager's draft. They got to the mid to late game without much of a struggle coming from Allegiance. They didn't really want to put pressure onto Zapman, and now he's in the late game form, completely finished off his build. If anyone gets out of position, even if it's Incon, Zapman is going to melt them.
Here we saw both left and mid Phoenix go down at the same time, so they're going to come up at the same time. Eager grouped up as 3 on the left-hand side. DJ, well, he's going to take some minions with him into the jungle, but he'll be able to start looking towards whichever Phoenix he feels fit. Titan under attack. Mid and left, again being aggressed on. 4-1, DJ being the Lone Ranger. There's the ultimate out of the mid laner, Janus. Out comes the damage, down comes the ultimate out of Weaken. Divios in trouble, forced away 10%, and here comes the rest of Allegiance pushing forward. DJ trying to create a little bit of a distraction, but he's only going to grab the solo laner. The Titan being aggressed on by the fire minions totally, and that's going to be enough to take Allegiance out of the team fight on the left and into the throne room.
And now it's going to be Eager finding the pick onto Incon, the left side Phoenix still being put pressure on. Divios getting knocked up. Mid Phoenix does fall. Titan still taking a lot of damage. Aror diving the backline, stunning out stealth. Venenu having to retreat. I'm a monster finds the win for Eager.
There it goes very quickly, understanding, hey, we can do all this team fight. We can take out the players, but all we got to do is take out the big man. And that's exactly what TheBest does. That man right there, he got ice in his veins. Allegiance almost took the game away, and with one spell, he said absolutely not. And then with one spell, he turned around and took away the enemy Titan.
Jeremy Daly, he usually is the very quiet one coming out of Eager, but he was anything but quiet in that last game playing the Scylla, able to shut down the end push from Allegiance, that one Root Crush combination. Just like the mentality of Allegiance now off of this first game must be kind of devastating.
I mean, it's all about you always got to worry about the quiet guys, right? Certainly going to be the case for TheBest. Like we said, this one is very troublesome. Allegiance wanted to 2-0, but they're not mathematically out of it. Unfortunately for them and their fans, this is it. Their backs are against the wall. Allegiance need to find the win. Kevin, tell us how they can do that.
It's going to be a pretty hard-fought battle for them. We saw kind of Allegiance able to make it to the late game. Drayla, you talked about how their composition was able to scale, but by the time they got there, we saw Stealth full build as well in that last fight. They were just so far behind, and those Phoenixes down, like, just too much pressure.
And in the fights, they would often get a pick on DJ, which led them to like sort of push into Eager with their comp. But the problem was, with their comp, they have no repeated engage. They're only engaged with Blink Bot's ult. So when they pushed into Eager's comp, they got kited, out-sustained, out-traded, and they got strided by Freya and Best.
Taka, what are your thoughts on that one? Just a quick roundup.
You could tell Eager were definitely not looking to mess around or potentially lose the game, especially after they lost their middle Phoenix and that return push from ALG. And also, we saw how they had a little bit of trouble closing out against Noble in that first game, so I think that they also did not want a repeat of that. Zap immediately was calling, we can end, just go for the Titan. You saw them all just rushing in.
Well, it's unfortunate for Allegiance. They're still in it, though. Going to be a hard-fought battle if they split with this. They do have to rely on Noble at the end of the day being able to take a game against LG, but it's possible. This set, though, I mean, this game, once again, TheBest has just been a monster throughout this tournament, Draylo.
Right, and Scylla sort of been always his signature character going back to season 1. He has a lot of practice on it, and during the spring split, when Soulstone got buffed and Power Pot got buffed, and Power Pot was being bought with Soulstone, he pulled out against Sora when something like 19-1.
It was crazy.
This is his best character, and for him to go off like that is not surprising.
And Stealth not really able to have a good game, especially near the end. It's so unfortunate trying to rely on those Janus snipes to win you at all.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate, especially watching in that last engagement where we saw that it was just a bit of a whiff Janus ult. And Best, he was definitely looking to deal damage right from the get-go. I mean, he rushed that Soul Reaver. He had a third item. Meanwhile, Stealth
really likes that build.
Yeah, he really enjoys having that pack of power. Like, whenever he plays Scylla, like Draylo was saying, he's really mechanically skilled as is, and the fact of the matter is it also fits his playstyle really well.
Right.
And that 1-2 combination, I think the Soul Reaver rush on Scylla in that kind of situation works out really well for him, especially when you combine it with the rest of his team, when you have like the Bastet bleed, the Freya pulse coming in. It's just so much damage on the side of Eager that I don't think ALG are really to deal with it.
Do you think it's worth thinking about a Bastet ban at this point? The raw Bastet, and then just trade out one of the healers? Is that something that Allegiance might be able to do?
I mean, maybe as a third ban, but certainly not as a first ban. I mean, DJ wasn't really all that impactful that game. And most of the fights, you saw him jump in and immediately get pecked and die. So I think the target bans that you should be looking for are like possibly third banning, like Scylla, best Scylla, or like sort of like the Freya, like the true carries of this game.
Yeah, and just for you guys at home, SteelSeries is the official hardware sponsor of hi-rez esports. You can see the headset there on Stealth's head. You can actually customize those colors. We got different ones for each team, so really cool stuff coming from SteelSeries.